All right, welcome to today's training. What we're going to be covering today is why website custom audiences are important. Okay, we're going to be covering how to build a custom audience map for yourself, quick and easy, and how to set up website custom audiences. That's really what we're going to be covering on today's training. So basically, there's a few different reasons why this is so important. I talk about a number on some of my webinars, promotional webinars and training webinars, how Jay Baer in the book Youtilty, Youtilty, talks about these numbers, the average times that people need to consume content before they make a purchasing decision. Back in 2009, people were consuming 2 to 3 pieces of content before they would buy something. This is average, okay? This is industry wide, product wide. So these are averages. So in 2010, that number jumped to 5.3. Okay, so the average person was consuming 5.3 pieces of content before they would go out and buy something. And then in 2010, that number jumped up to, or 2011, that number jumped up to 10.4. The average consumer doubled again, is consuming 10 pieces of content. Now, if they're buying a car or maybe a swimming pool or a hot tub, that might be 20, 25, 30 pieces of content before they make a purchasing decision. If they're buying a pair of shoes, maybe it's 2 or 3 still, the lower end. Those are averages. You got to remember that. So it's industry wide and it depends on what product you're selling. But the point is that it's getting more and more and more difficult to drive traffic to a super highly converting sales page, sales video, long form sales page with really good copy. And even if you have good testimonials and good proof, it's tough to get conversions, especially on that very first visit. So custom audiences are huge, and it's just we're seeing the best conversions in all of our campaigns. So the other thing is that the great thing about Facebook website custom audiences is that it's changing the game because you can actually target people cross device. Okay, this is important. If you don't understand exactly how this works, some of you folks on this call might already understand that, but let me explain it to you a little bit. They call it people-based targeting. Okay, so for example, retargeting has been going on for a few years. So if you go to Amazon or if you go to a good e-commerce site, or even if you go to like my website, even a few years ago when Facebook didn't have website custom audiences and we were using Perfect Audience to run retargeting, you might land on a piece of content. You might put a product in your shopping cart and then you would leave. Okay, you would exit that site and then you might go back to Facebook or you might go to Mashable or something like that. And then you see an ad that from that same company that is saying, hey, check out this product. It could be personalized, it might not be, it just depends. And so now you see this ad that's related to the same product that you were looking at maybe earlier that day or the day before or earlier that week. And so, but the way this worked was basically you would take a code, and it's basically like a pixel like it is in Facebook now, but you would take that retargeting code from Perfect Audience or AdRoll or Google AdWords, and you would paste it on the head of your site. And if somebody saw your product or they were on your website and they were on Google Chrome, and then later on that day they had Firefox up, your ad is not going to display to that person. Okay, it's a cookie based pixel, so it's completely placed on the browser. Okay, and so if somebody sees your ad or content and they're on a mobile device, guess what? they go back to their home or they pull up their laptop, you're not going to be able to retarget them. So where Facebook comes in is Facebook is connecting it to the login. So, and we, a while back, we confirmed this with our Facebook rep, but this is really, really powerful. So if you land on a website that somebody has their Facebook pixel placed correctly on, right? The website custom audience pixel, and now you're added to that audience list. Now you're added to that audience list. What happens if you go to another device? You're on that list because it's connected to your Facebook login. So let's say you're on your mobile device, and you're on Facebook and you see an ad and you click on it, or you just see a piece of content and you go to that website. It's now, boom, you're added to that list, that Facebook. They call it a pixel. To be honest with you, I don't like that, but that's what they call it. It's a website custom audience. Think of it more as a list. It's an invisible list instead of just a pixel, because the pixel thing kind of makes it confusing. But basically, you're added to that now. And so when you go back to your other computer, and as long as you're logged into Facebook, if you're not logged into Facebook, it won't be cross-device capable. So, yes, we know a lot of people are going to not be logged in all the time, but the way it works in most cases, most people if you think about the 80-20 principle, most people are logged in. And so this is really, really powerful, and you can really systematize this. And you can set it up the first way fairly simple, and we're going to show you how to do that here. But let me show you real quickly. This is just a basic 7-step process that you guys can, we'll have the PDF of these slides in the members area underneath the recording of this video. But just a super basic checklist that you can kind of refer back to. The first step is you're going to want to just list out all your assets. Okay. You can do this on a notepad. You can do this on a Google Doc spreadsheet. I like using Google Doc spreadsheets as much as possible. Okay. And start to list out your assets, your URLs. Okay. These are your content pages, your home page of your main website, any blogs, articles that you have. Okay. Any landing pages for your lead magnets, webinar registrations, etc. Any thank you pages that you have. Maybe their thank you pages are also sales pages. Okay, they could be playing that same role. Any upsell sales confirmation pages. Okay, you've got to have your sales confirmation page in order to really track these website custom audience visitors properly. Okay, you don't want to be targeting people that have already bought your product or already opted in. Yes, it's going to happen sometimes. There's going to be some overlap, and some people are going to see your ads even if they've already bought or opted in. But most cases, if you do it right, you're going to eliminate that in most cases. So you're going to list out your URLs. Then what you can do is you can actually map out your customer flow. You can use Lucidchart or Glyphy, and I'll show you how to do it quickly, just real quick and easy. You can use Glyphy or Lucidchart to map out your flow, and then you can put notes onto those, and you can add your URLs, okay? Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to start creating your first custom audiences inside Facebook, which we're going to show you how to do. Then you're going to set your number of days that you're going to be tracking these visitors. Example, you might have a 30-day list, okay? And then you might have a 180-day list. Okay, we like to always start with 180 days. That's the maximum that Facebook lets you set. So that way, if you set 180 days and you have one on your website, site-wide, then if a visitor hits your page today, you basically have up to 180 days from now to run any kind of Facebook ads to that list. After 181 days, they will be deleted from that list. Okay. So then you can set up another one, that same list or that same site basically, for 30 days, or maybe you want to have a 10-day, okay? The next thing you're going to do is you want to take that code that they give you and you're going to place it into the head of your website or your pages. And your main, in like a WordPress site or an e-commerce site, it's going to be the same place that you would put your Google Analytics. Okay, that's the easiest way to remember it. Sites like lead pages, ClickFunnels, Optimize Press 2, they'll have a section for tracking codes, and it's really easy to find. Okay. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add the Facebook Pixel Helper to Chrome. Okay. So you just go to Google Chrome and you search Facebook Pixel Helper, and we'll do that in a second here when Ralph's showing the stuff. So you're going to add that to Chrome, and that's great because then you can go right to any website that you have, and you can just boom, you can click on it and you can see if you have the pixel on there, if you have a website custom audience pixel properly, if you have a conversion pixel that's placed on there properly. Okay. And then you're going to create your first ads. It's really a basic 7-step process. Now, this right here is a super basic map that is a great way to think about it. So if you look at here, this first step right here, you've got an article. Maybe you have a blog post. So I've got a blog post on my site where I talk about the 9-step Facebook process. Okay, it's about a 12-minute video and overview. Let's say somebody lands on an article on my website. I have an article on my website. I might want to amplify that with Facebook. I might want to promote that post with Facebook to drive traffic to that article. Okay. Maybe people are landing on that article via search. Okay. Via referral traffic. Maybe they heard you on a podcast or something like that. But you can amplify it and bring people there, which is great because when you bring people to a blog post, to an article, you are building goodwill. Okay. The more we can build goodwill and authority, the better we do in the long run. We're always trying to figure out how we can win in the long run. So somebody visits your blog, and I have here where I say 5 to 20%. It's going to be closer to that 5% range. And what that is maybe somebody hits your blog and they see a sidebar widget that says click here to download my swipe file or register for a webinar, or maybe you've got a call to action at the bottom of your post. Inside your post, maybe you've got a call to action on the top of your website, or you're using like a tool like hellobar.com. Those types of things. You're going to get some people that are going to opt in. But most people are going to exit, right? 80 to 95% of the people are going to exit. And then they're going to go to maybe back to Facebook, or maybe they're going to go out to the rest of the internet somewhere, Mashable. Okay. So what you have here is custom audience ads. Okay. And then retargeting ads. Retargeting ads, that's basically web retargeting. You can use something like AdWords, or you could use Perfect Audience or AdRoll. And you can also place banner ads throughout the rest of the internet. The way we do it in Facebook is we just think about it as a custom audience ad. One audience has visitors that landed on specific pages, so you want to place your ad in front of those audiences, okay? And then you might want to exclude people that have landed on other pages. For example, a confirmation page, right? If you want to retarget people back to so let's say your landing page over here is the one you're driving these warmed up visitors to, is an opt-in. Well, you're going to display that to those folks that have landed on this website, but you're going to exclude the people that have landed on the thank you page. And we're going to show you guys how to do that online here. So that's the basic kind of overview of website custom audiences and the power of it. Now, the cool thing too is you can also create lookalike audiences based on these. So if you've got somebody that goes to your landing page and opts in, and then you're creating this list of these leads, you can now start to create lookalike audiences based on those leads, or lookalike audiences based on buyers, lots of things like that. So, Ralph, are you ready to take over the screen?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good. I can hear myself and I can hear you. Yeah. I mean, just let me know what you want to show. We got a few things here we can certainly show to everybody. How's my audio, by the way?
It's actually sounds really good. So type in there to make sure you can hear him okay, and there's no echo or anything like that. Let's see, look in the questions. Okay.
Yeah, just give me like 1 minute. Just
Okay.
yeah, we had a pixel issue this
Okay.
morning, which is
Okay.
something
What
we
I'm gonna
should
do is I'm
certainly
gonna
talk about.
yeah, there was a little pixel issue, so I'm gonna I'm gonna show you guys this little how to do this inside Lucidchart. Okay. So let's make sure you're muted, Ralph, too. So we're showing my screen. We're good there. Okay. Okay, so basically we we like to use Lucidchart quite a bit. Okay. It's Gliffy, Gliffy.com, or Lucid, Lucid chart.com are amazing tools. I recommend if you don't have a account with one of them, get them. This is kind of the main funnel that our evergreen funnel that we've got that that we're building out that we'll be running all year round after this little kind of mini internal founding member launch we did, or well, I guess we're doing right now that ends tonight. And then there's this is kind of the main a little bit funnel. But if you go over here, what you can do is it's super easy. I'm going to show you how fast and easy this is. So you can go into Lucidchart and say, okay, I have, let's say, content buckets. Okay. So if you have specific, let's say you have a content bucket one, which is, it could be site wide. Okay. So this line over here, this first kind of row is site wide, or maybe you have a specific buckets of content. So for example, with me, I have Facebook ads related content videos, blog videos like this. This right here would be considered a piece of um, content. Whoops, it's reloaded for some reason. This right here would be considered a piece of content. Okay, this is a content piece that you don't have to opt in for to consume, right? So you've got here. I have a piece of content. I might add some URLs, and what I can do is I can right click and I can add a comment, or I can add a note, or I can delete a note. So I delete that note, or I can right click and I can add note. And what I can do is I can add different URLs. Okay, so I can copy that and I can paste it right into here. And if I have a few different content buckets, I can put some notes in here if I want. Now we're going to show you a spreadsheet, how we have all this in a spreadsheet too. But let's say you have maybe you only have one or two articles that you have as pieces of content that you want to kind of amplify. Maybe you don't have any right now. Don't stress if you don't. It's okay. You can build this out over a long period of time. But let's say you have a content bucket one, content bucket two. You just copy and paste that, and then you just change the any text you need to change in that. So let's say it's content bucket two, and then I would delete that note. And this might be YouTube blog posts, okay, related to YouTube or all other social media, right? So we have different buckets. For example, and then what you can do is you can create a spreadsheet with all of these URLs, and you can have somebody else kind of do some of the smaller work for you. For example, if you go to look at this spreadsheet here, we have Dr. Jeff here, and they have 5 chiropractic / physical therapy offices where they do this really cool therapy. And so they create a lot of content. So we have buckets. So we got neck pain, and then you got general back pain. These are all different articles. Okay. And then you got sciatica, herniated disc. So you have 4 main buckets. So you see lots of URLs right here, right? But basically in their case, we would only have 4 of these. So we'd have one copy and paste, content bucket 3, and this would be like sciatica, for example, right? So 3, and then you'd paste, and then you'd have content bucket 4. And then it's really nice to visualize this. Some people work better with like spreadsheet type of listing out. So I'm kind of showing you both ways to do this because I know a lot of people have different ways that they like to set up processes and also learn. So you can have your bucket set up this way in the spreadsheet. Okay, you can have both if you want. But utilize Google Docs, utilize Lucidcharts or Gliffy. It's going to help. It's going to make your life much better. So now you might have, let's say, copy and paste that. Your next kind of level over here is let's say like a landing page, right? So you have your lead magnet. And this right here would be another bucket. And I can add notes to this, and I can put my, let's say this right here is my Facebook checklist. All right. So then I can put that in there. Whoops. Right there is where I want that. There we go. So that note has the actual URL. And then I'm thinking this, so we're moving to the right? We're moving. These people are just brand new visitors, content. Maybe you only have one of these. Maybe you don't have any of these quite yet. And then you've got your lead magnet here. And then what you have is the next level here. And you might have multiple lead magnets. So I might have, for my case, a Facebook checklist. And then you might have, maybe it's a webinar. Okay. Webinar registration. You might have a couple different lead magnets. You might not. Now, the next thing is what? Your thank you page or your sales page. Maybe that's a different color here. So we've got green. Okay. And then, so this might be your thank you page, sales page. And this is going to be another bucket. Okay. These are lists inside Facebook. These are custom audience lists. So when you're running your ads, let's just pull the next level here. All right. So then you might want to color this one yellow, right? Okay. And make the font black. So now you've got your sales confirmation page, upsell. So that might be an upsell page, but if it's an upsell page, it's still the next page somebody lands on after they buy. Okay, right? So now you're thinking you got your list. These are lists or audiences. 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 Guess what I can do now? I can say, hey, I want to run a campaign to opt-in refusers. So I want to target these people. So this is going to be an audience I'm going to select in Facebook. And then I want to exclude these people here. That's my opt-in refusers campaign. I might want to run a sales refusers, people that didn't convert. Okay, so I'm going to target these people. Okay, excuse me. I'm going to target people that landed on the thank you. Yeah, that's right. Sorry about that. I'm going to target people that have already opted in. Okay, they've landed on the thank you page, the lead magnet thank you page / sales page. Okay, in this case. So they've landed on the next page. They've opted in, their lead. And I'm going to exclude people that landed here. All right. And I also might exclude these people. So I might just only include these and exclude these. In some cases, depending on my funnel, I might say, hey, you know what? I want to target everybody that's either been to my site or opted in. So I might target people that landed here, here, and here, and drive them to my sales page just to get them to convert, depending on what your offer is. And so there's kind of different things you can do there. But if you start to really kind of visualize it here, and then you add these little notes to add your different URLs, and then you can start to create these separate audiences in Facebook. And then all it is when you're running these ads, it's include, exclude. That's how you have to think about it. Include an audience, exclude an audience. So, and then the other thing to remember is, like with these buckets over here, is you can add multiple URLs in one bucket. So if you see this one here, the neck pane, and we'll show you, Ralph will show you here in a second, these are all in one audience. Okay, it's just, you can just add multiple URLs. So what do you think, Ralph? Was that helpful? Are you ready to, can I give you controls?
Sorry, I was muted there. Yeah. It's actually, this is going to be good for everybody to see because everything that you're talking about here, it sounds super simple, but there's always issues that you run into with website custom audiences as much as they are really, really powerful. And we ran into some issues this morning, and I'll actually show you exactly what those issues are and how to resolve them, especially if you're doing redirects, which makes things a little bit more complex, but it's just all part of the process here. So, sometimes you just have to put in extra work to make sure that everything's right, and that's the thing that you got to do in order for this to really work. So me see. Did you give me controls here? Yeah, hold on one sec. Okay, show my screen. Can you guys see my screen okay? Keith?
Oh, sorry about that. I was switching to headphones. Say that again.
Can you see my screen all right?
Let's check here. I'm having a little. Where's my good? Yep, there we go. Cool. I just went
All right.
to just in case some of you guys got on late. Ralph and I are in the same hotel room. We're in San Diego, so we're kind of trying to be separate areas of the of the room, and so we've got headphones on. We did a webinar yesterday right next to each other. We decided today would be easier to kind of have our own mics, and so just getting a little bit creative here. So just excuse any of the weird stuff that we do because it's just what we do. So,
Do you want to tell them where I actually am right now? I'm in my own studio inside the hotel room in the bathroom.
Yeah, just to help the sound. So how does it sound? It doesn't sound echoey. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's a good mic because it's real echoey in here.
Um,
So if you hear a toilet flushing, you'll know that was me. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, so what Keith's talking about here is that this is just really, really powerful stuff, and we use it all the time with all our clients. Unfortunately, we don't have the okay to show you all of our clients, but there's certain ones that we certainly will discuss in these trainings. And one of our clients, as I'm sure you guys probably are aware, or maybe you're not aware, is Perry Marshall, and he's totally cool with us showing everything that he's doing inside his account. So that's the reason why we're going to be using his account here, and to show you exactly how these things work sort of in real time, as well as how you can do improvements and some of the issues that you run into. And I think the first thing that everyone needs to know is, even if there might be some advanced people on the training here today, is that website custom audience code needs to be placed just once, only once. So you place it in your head tags of your website, or if you're using lead pages, it needs to go inside, and I'll show you where that is. I'll actually sort of show you an issue that we're having right now with some redirects, but it needs to be placed on basically every page that you send traffic to, but only place it once. Place it as close to the top of the head tag as you possibly can. I'm not a website coder by any stretch, but we work with a lot of website coders with our clients, and sometimes we run into issues with this sort of stuff. So that's why we've got some stop gaps in place and some safeguards, which I'll show you how to use all that. So let's get into kind of an active campaign where we are using website custom audiences. We're getting good results, and the biggest thing about this is that, like Keith said, it takes multiple touches for people to actually do what you want them to do, whether it's getting an opt-in, let's say you're giving away an ebook or a video, or a 30-day challenge, or any sort of thing that you're giving away in order to get your folks into your funnel. You can retarget them with content, just like what Keith was talking about with one of our clients, which is a great way to do things, especially, let's say you have 5 different products for 5 different things, 5 different specific areas. Like in the example he used, it was sciatica, back pain, neck pain, herniated discs, that kind of thing. So what we do is that we promote content to people, tag them sort of inside the website custom audiences, and then show them offers specific to whatever their ailment is. So you could do the same thing with any of your offers. Just in the interest of time, I'm going to show you kind of a real simple one here today. But this is powerful stuff, guys. But it trips a lot of people up. I don't care if you've been doing this, a month or 7 years when they first started the platform. It's something that you constantly have to check. So actually, in preparation for this webinar last night, we realized that some of our website custom audiences were not counting the way that we wanted them to. So we actually had to fix some of them this morning. So, but let me show you this one right here. This is a website custom audience campaign. It's a separate campaign inside this entire campaign. Now we're doing two things for this client. We sort of scaled back their spend a little bit. We've kind of focused in on targets that really work for them. So the spend isn't huge. I mean, it's a couple $100 a day. But basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to get people to opt in for a video. And then after that video then sort of leads into the next step of the sales process, which is, hey, if you like this video, then you'll love my book. So go and buy my book, get more tips just like this one. So that's sort of the idea. So how familiar are these guys with Lead Magnet, Tripwire, Core Offer? Keith, is that something we've discussed in the past?
Possibly, but the word Tripwire Core Offer is not going to probably fly with everybody. No, because that's like a unique DM. Yeah, definitely not.
So in this case, there's two things that we want them to do. We want a website visitor to opt in, okay, give us their name and email so we can follow up with them on email. We can retarget them, a lot of different ways, primarily through email as well as through Facebook or any other method. We can add them as a custom audience once they actually do opt in. But then after they opt in, then they're shown a video, and in that video it sells them on their sort of low-priced or low-ticket offer, which in this case, and I'll show you exactly what it is. I'll just sort of take you through the funnel here. This is the sales page right now, which is hideous, but it converts like crazy. And I'll actually show you the ad that goes along with this one. You
mean the landing page?
The landing page, yeah. This is the landing page that we send cold traffic to. And some people opt in and, and some people don't. So for those people who do opt in, they actually go to this page here, which, as hideous as this is something that actually converts. So we've split tested this with this purple sort of background. I mean, this is just a lead pages page with the video. Perry kind of talks about the concept of 80-20 and how you can sell more by working less. So that's sort of the whole funnel right there. So we send traffic to this landing page. They opt in. They immediately get the video. And then this box kind of appears that we've got this tested a couple of different places. Sometimes it appears at 60 seconds, 90 seconds, depending on when. And then once they actually go and click here, then they go to this page where they can order his book for a penny. So that's sort of the front end of the sales funnel. Cold traffic to a landing page, get an email and a name. On the thank you page, which there's a conversion pixel placed, of course, then they watch the video and they're prompted to then click the button and buy the book. So there's our step right there, sort of 1, 2, 3. So we get a fair amount of opt-ins for this campaign, at about $1, $2 thereabouts, but not everybody buys on this page right here. So what we've done is we've created sort of campaigns inside the ad manager that are for a variety of different types of people. One of the ones is this one that I'm pointing to here. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. I might want to blow this up just a little bit more. How's that? A little bit
See it pretty good. Yeah, you can see it pretty good.
So this one right here is, notice how we sort of structured this. And these are ones that we just actually started doing here, so we'll talk about that in just a second. But this one right here is for a website custom audience for book buy refusers. So what that is that's somebody who's opted in, is given their name and their email address on this page or maybe another page, okay? And then they do not purchase that secondary offer, that get my book for 1 penny, get more of what I just told you. If you're really interested in it, then buy it and you'll get the whole thing. So that's sort of the idea behind the Tripwire offer. But anyway, so that's sort of the funnel in essence. So what we've done is we've targeted people through website custom audiences for, in this ad set right here, and I'll just sort of talk about this one just first, is book by refusers, meaning that they opted in but they didn't buy. So we've got this website custom audience pixel placed on every page of the site. So I can basically tell Facebook, okay, target people who, and I'll show you exactly how it looks here. All right, here's our targeting. Facebook, there we go. All right. We're targeting this website custom audience. Now notice how I've set this up. This is video book by refuser 2015 all site 180 days. But I've also excluded, we also have a list, a custom audience list of his book buyers. So just to be sure, I don't want to target anybody who's already bought his book. So I just immediately put that in as what's called an excluded audience. You can do that by that little drop-down menu there. Okay. So that list is, and if we can get into, let's see, if we can get, actually I'll show you how I set it up right after I show you the results of it.
And real quick, and just for some of you folks, we're going to show you how to throw in the pixel in a couple different ways. I've got a ClickFunnels page. I've got a Optimize Press 2 page, and we can also show lead pages. And we'll show you how to set it site-wide, just in case you guys don't know, and also how to add it to specific individual pages too.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we can do that next. So anyway, so here are the results. This is actually the results for just the last 30 days. We paused this campaign around Christmas and then ramped it back up again. So the goal of this campaign is to get a book buyer for under $10. That's our goal. That's the client's goal. Get me a book buyer for $10. That way I can sell them down the line with other upsells. This funnel is very complex, but I'm really just showing you sort of the first 3 steps. It's probably about 17 steps. You don't have to do that by any stretch. But all we're really concerned about is we know that he'll make money on the back end if he can get a book buyer for under $10. Okay, so that's our goal. Your goal might be completely different. So you can see what the results are here. Just in the last, actually this is more like along the lines of the last 7 days because we just ramped this up just in the past week. So we've got no book buy or book buy refusers, okay? These are people that opted in but didn't buy the book, remember? Okay, well, I'll show you how that looks inside Website Custom Audiences. And we spent only $70 and we got 8 sales. There's 8 checkouts right there. I have a conversion pixel on the thank you page after they buy, okay? But I also have the Website Custom Audience code on every page in the entire sales funnel. And I'll show you a couple of pages where it's on there a couple of times, and now that's sort of screwing us up, which was why I got onto the call a little bit late today. So anyway, so this is a good campaign. This is just, we're just starting it. This is really for you guys that are, you know, you don't need to be spending thousands of dollars a day to do this. You know, this is on a low budget, relatively speaking. It's hitting the goal. It's under $10. We're pretty happy. We're going to start ramping it up. I've made some more custom audiences in the last couple of days that are starting to get some, you know, or more website custom audience ads in the last couple of days to ramp this up even more. But that's the basics behind it. So, and you can track this all through reporting. Okay, all I did here is I just hit this little view report tab right here. It then opens up and shows me what my cost per checkout is, which is our sale, and then how many checkouts we actually got. So that's how we monitor this campaign, just through basic reporting. Keith, does that make sense so far?
Yeah, yep, makes great sense. Yep. Okay. And I somebody had a question, a good question, real quick, Ray, about the number of people he was saying if he had a custom audience, let's say he had a day 1 through 6 audience, and then he had another audience for days 7 through 180. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got like 50 people on the first list, and then he's got 100 total visitors. But then after day 7, it's kind of you're losing the one list. It's basically staying small because it's only 6 days, and so it's around 50 people. And let's say the next list is also around 50 people. He said, does that mean they won't show because they need a minimum of 100? Are neither list going to show? Well, in theory, unless correct me if I'm wrong here, but in theory, we need at least 20 to show
Mm-hmm.
a custom audience. So whether that's an upload of an email list or that's a website custom audience, they need 20 visitors, 20 people on that list to be active. Um, you need 100 names to create a lookalike audience. So if you have like 30 people, then your ads should display. So to those people, but that's the answer to that one. So um, let's see here. Yep. And then go ahead, Ralph. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, what Keith said is right. You can actually sort of see it here. This is inside our audiences. These are all our website custom audiences, and for some reason, Facebook just starts. I don't know what these are. Like these are.
Something they've just recently
Yeah,
started doing for some weird reason.
it's some kind of glitch, but basically, it's
It probably has
this
something
is
to do with
just
the error messages you were getting yesterday and stuff, right?
yeah,
Probably,
yeah. I
maybe.
mean, well, I mean, the platform itself is kind of glitchy, so just sort of deal with it. We're all dealing with it. Um, and they're constantly changing it. So sometimes I think when they change some coding on one end of the platform, then it screws up stuff downstream. I don't really know how to explain it any better than that, but ideally what you should have is these just appeared here this morning for me. But basically these are all our website custom audience lists, if I can kind of just explain to you guys what we're doing here. So this is this list right here, that one that I'm pointing to. Video book buyers, refusers, 180 days. So these are all our refusers who did not buy a book in the last 180 days. Now, for some reason, Facebook is showing this as this internal list here, but trust me, that 500 should be up here. So how we actually did it, let's actually hope that they're not going to, yeah.
While you're doing that, another question that's relative is, Ivan asked if can he have one conversion pixel and also a custom audience pixel on the same thank you page, and the answer is yes to that. Now, if you have multiple conversion pixels, we've seen double counting issues. We just had that with a client recently, but you can have a custom audience and a conversion pixel. You want that basically.
You definitely do. You definitely do, which is what we've done. So for some reason these aren't exactly showing the way that we want them to, but let's just take a look here. So this is actually inside audiences. So this will show you how to set this kind of stuff up. Actually, I'll just do one from scratch as that.
It's showing blank when you pull it up, isn't it?
Yeah. See, this is like real time, real world.
Well, here's another example. Here's an example right here of the stuff that we deal with Facebook. Go back to there for a second. This is something that I think Bree is on the call right now, and she had a question. We're helping her on at a coaching capacity, right? And so she had some questions about uploading her list. She's got a lot of different email lists and buyer lists, and she wants to create these unique custom audiences. And I went in to do a quick little 5-minute Jing video on how to add to the let's say you have 5 different lists inside iContact, Aweber, or Infusionsoft, or whatever you're using, and really you just want to upload all those lists into one large overall lead list or subscriber list that you can add. Excuse me, you need to do it on a data file, Ralph, not a custom
Mhm.
audience, website custom audience. Go back to a data file and hit edit. So normally you would be able to add one, say you have one list of 800, you upload that, and then let's say you want to add, 4 more lists to that same list. Normally what I was going to explain her to do is that's how you would do it. And then I went into Facebook and it wasn't letting me do it. The edit or the edit was basically gray. So go to so go to
This one right here.
actions, see where it says edit, hold it right there. Don't click it yet. Go back to it. Um, so when I went to create that video for Bree, that edit right there was not clickable. It was all gray, kind of like share and view pixel right now. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, great. Well, it looks like she's going to add. So she had to go in, and I was like thinking that maybe they just changed the capability. For some reason, Facebook just they don't let us do that anymore. Because what this does is it's kind of cool. You can create one like all subscriber list, and then you can continue to add to that list. You can upload more spreadsheets to it anytime you want, right? So it'll continue to grow. But for a couple days, that was actually they weren't letting you do that. So she had to like add all of her lists onto one large spreadsheet to do it. She didn't really know this was going on in the background, and I was like, I had the one email, but I was asking Ralph about it. I was like, I don't know if they stopped doing this, but the point is stuff happens that's glitchy and it's frustrating, but you can't let it get you down and hold you back. You got to keep going and figure out a way, and just because it's worth it, I promise you. So that's the key.
It is, and we get frustrated too with this stuff. I mean, I just about 3 months ago, we had for another client, one of our ad managers had, I think, 17 website custom audiences set up by day and by refuser to this offer, really complex. Facebook just wiped it out one day for no reason. So he had to start from scratch and probably took him 3 or 4 hours to do it. It was very, very complex. I mean, we can't show you that campaign, but what we can tell you is that you do have to stick with it, and it is worth it in the end. Like if your goal is to get a sale for under $10, website custom audience is a great way to do that. We're doing that right now with this client here. So it's a super way to get another touch to that customer. You just have to stick with Facebook's glitchiness. And to your point, Keith, sometimes when you try to edit any of these audiences in here, if you have two audiences checked at the same time, and you might not realize it, it grays out the edit,
Yep.
just so you know. So, like that's brand new. That just happened yesterday. Where I was trying to edit a list, and for some reason I couldn't do it, and I realized I had two boxes checked. So, anyway, just stick with Facebook is sort of the bottom line here. Let me show you. I had the one up here just a second ago as to what we did. Yeah. Now they're doing these internal lists here as to what it sort of looks like on the inside.
There we go.
So it's not that one.
Hey, while he's looking for that, real quick side, and I'll answer a couple questions, and I'll give you guys a link. For those of you that do video and stuff, I give this tool all the time, but one of my favorite microphones we're both using right now, I'm going to copy it and paste it in the link. It's a $60 Audio Technica mic. I use it all the time. I use it for podcasts. I use it for live webinars. I use it. I like to move around at my office, at my house, into I have like 4 different workspaces that I use. And so I have one main, nice kind of one that's connected and it's on the stand and all that. It looks like a studio. But I have one that's really small, and it's portable. You can take it anywhere you go, and it's a $60 mic, and it's $500 quality. Okay, it's a $400 quality mic for $60. I'm gonna paste it in the chat to everybody here. Let's see here. Where the heck is it here? I've got somebody else's I'm trying to answer, but so all. And it's a secret. I love it. It's a great tool you can use. The good thing about it too is it cuts off. You can adjust the settings on your computer to turn the mic up and down, and it really will cut out the background noise. I mean, one time I was at a restaurant in Portland and I had a client call with Australia, and we had like a conference call, and I had the grand piano started playing like 15 feet away from me, and I was able to turn my mic down, and they could all hear me, and they couldn't even hear the piano in the background. So it's a great tip for you. Just a little side note. All right, you ready, Ralph? Oh yeah, let me answer one more question too. So I haven't asked another great question. He said, so if I have 5 different ad sets and I want to know how many leads each generates, do I need a conversion pixel for each ad on the same thank you page? So great question. We get that one all the time, and the answer is no. Okay, you want one conversion pixel. And the great thing about Facebook reporting, which make sure you go and watch that video. It's in the members area. It's like the last webinar we did, I believe. Recent webinars. It's going to be the last one we did. It's on the top of the list of recent webinars. And we talk about optimizing your campaigns and using Facebook's reporting. But Facebook reporting is going to separate all that stuff out for you. As long as they're a separate ad or a separate ad set, you're going to be able to see how the conversions happen. So, okay, go ahead, Ralph.
Ready?
Ready.
Yeah, I mean, we're both using that mic right now. It's great. So no background noise whatsoever, which is awesome. All right, so this is actually, I'm in audiences inside the Power Editor. Okay, but you can access this through the Ads Manager or the Power Editor, either one. But this is the targeting for that ad campaign that I just showed you guys. Okay, so this one right here. Okay, book buyer refusers. Okay, I'm doing it only on desktop because I know in order to buy the book, it's a multiple form field, and we've tested the fact that mobile doesn't convert on this, so that's important to keep in mind. So here's my targeting. So you can see sort of how I set this website custom audience up. So look at what this says on the top. So website traffic, people visiting specific web pages but not others. So let's think about this funnel again. All right, so here's our landing page. Here's our payoff page. And then I believe his thank you page is this. Okay, so if somebody buys the book, they land on this page, book order special offer. All right, so inside audiences, so I want to basically target people who have hit my landing page, hit my thank you page for the landing page, which is where the video payoff is, right? But I want to not include people who hit this page because they would have hit this page right here, which is the order page, and this is the thank you page for that order page. So we've got a website custom audience pixel on there, okay? And I'll tell you what this thing is. This is our little FB pixel helper. Definitely something, Keith, maybe you can throw that in the chat box for anyone who uses Chrome.
Yep.
To check your pixels. It's FB pixel helper, absolutely essential if you're doing website custom audiences or any sort of conversion, because you can always sort of check whether or not your custom audience pixel is loading and your conversion pixel is loading. So this conversion pixel is for a sale. This is my website custom audience pixel. So, all right, so I want to target people who have hit the first couple of pages but not the thank you page for the book sale. So I set my custom audience or website custom audience for, we've got a couple of different URLs here. These are basically all the landing pages here. These are the video thank you pages. So, okay, they hit the landing page, they opted in. The only way that they can get to these pages here, these video thank you pages, is if they opted in, right? So I include people who visit my webpage that meet the following rules. URL contains. Make sure you use URL contains. Okay, there's another drop down for URL equals. We always use URL contains. You may not gather data if you use URL equals. And the reason is if you're using tracking links, if you're using Google UTMs, if you're using any sort of append to your URL, you won't gather data if it's URL equals. Okay, super, super important. many hours of frustration figuring that one out. So don't do what we did, do this. So URL contains, all right, so here's all my pages, my landing page, my thank you page, but exclude people who visit the web page that meet the following rules. This is the thank you page for the book order. So URL contains this. This is this page right here. Okay? So these are my book buy refusers. All right, so I'm going to target them with a very different ad. And I'll actually show you kind of how you can do it here. This is, and I think Keith just talked to you about this, but you've got these different drop downs here. Okay, so we always pick these right here. Sometimes you want a website custom audience site-wide. First thing you should do, like after you get off this call, don't do it right now, is put that website custom audience pixel on your entire site and then create a website custom audience inside Facebook for anyone who's visited your website. Okay, and then put in your website URL there, just so you're starting to
the amount of
data.
days they're going to ask. They want to know that too. What days should they use, especially for that first one?
I would use 180 for the first one. Just gather as much as you possibly can. We can talk about in different training strategies for shorter amounts.
Click on that website traffic button again.
Yep.
I want to explain something here. So notice how it says that checkbox there underneath 30 days where it says include past website traffic. That's confusing because you're thinking, well, cool, I'm going to put this website custom audience code on my site and they're going to now track it back to last year, so I might have a huge list immediately. Well, it doesn't work that way. The reason why you want to put the home page site-wide 180 days right away, like today, is because that include past website traffic goes all the way back to the first day you put your pixel on. So let's say that you don't know how you want to organize all your external pages quite yet. You haven't mapped it out yet. Don't stress out, because let's say you put your site wide on one today, and then 3 weeks from now you say, okay, cool, I've got my landing page, I've got my thank you page URL. I'm gonna put those in there, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check include past website traffic. And let's say you've had 100 people hit that thank you page over the past 3 weeks since the day you originally put your code on, then it will count all that traffic. So all of a sudden, within a few hours, you'll have 100 people on that list. So Facebook will include past web traffic as far back as the initial day that you put the code on site-wide. Okay, so that's just one thing to realize why it's even more important to add it site-wide now.
Super important.
And
that's
to
a great point, actually.
And the other question a lot of people are wanting to know is, do you have to put the code on every page, or can you put it on once? And then the answer to that is, if you have a blog, like a WordPress blog or an e-commerce site, okay, as long as it's part of the same domain, like if you have an e-commerce site all part of one domain and it's not like a separate subdomain, then you're somewhere on your site, you'll have a setting. And I'm going to cover that right now. I'll just take over the screen for a second, and I'll give it back to you in a second. But
sure.
So I'm going to make me presenter. So, okay, show my screen. This is the Chrome Pixel helper that I put in the chat. So click on that. Don't do it right now, but all you do is you just click add to Chrome, and boom, it works. So it's pretty simple. But let's say you have optimized press. Then what you do is, if you want to go site wide, you're going to have a dashboard here. You're going to go optimize press. You're going to click dashboard right there. And then it's going to have some global settings, analytics and tracking. Okay. Right there. If I click on analytics and tracking, boom, you got the head tracking code. You've got the body tracking code and other. You're going to put it in the head. Okay. So this is where you're going to put it in your site wide. If you have let's say you have a regular, you don't have optimized press, you just have a regular blog. It always depends on your theme, but typically it's in the theme settings. So if I go to my main Dominate Web Media blog, it's a different theme. Okay. So notice how it's the other one I was just on was /members. WPM. This is a different theme. This is a WordPress theme. My main site is a Genesis theme. Okay. So if you go over here, I got Genesis theme settings. It's going to be in there. It's the same thing though. You're going to go down and you're going to see right here, header and footer scripts. That's where you're going to go. It's going to go site-wide. You only have to do it one time. Okay. Now, let's say you have a site like, we're using ClickFunnels right now. We're testing out for sales pages. So the sales page for Facebook Ads University now is on ClickFunnels. Okay, this is inside the editor. Inside any typical builder, you're going to have some kind of a setting. So here it's in settings, and then I've got tracking codes. See that? Tracking codes. So the page you're looking at right here, and here's my header right here. So this is where I'm going to paste it. This right here, this is the thank you page for the webinar registration. This is a thank you page and a sales page, right? You registered for the webinar, boom. How would you like to order my book and get a free trial? So this is the thank you page for the webinar. So I have I have conversion tracking pixel for my webinar registration, and then I also have my website custom audience code on there. Okay. And then if you do it in lead pages, I'll give you show one more example. And then one thing that's probably a little bit confusing to people is conversion tracking pixels compared to website custom audience pixels, because website custom audience pixel, you only have one that you use. It never changes within your account. But conversion tracking pixels, they're actually different. They're unique to each one. Let's real quick, I'm going to pull up lead pages just in case. I know a lot of people are using lead pages. And there we go. So I'm on a thank you page right now. This is a webinar registration page. So this is a page that I might have a conversion tracking code, and I would also have my website custom audience code if it will ever load. And lead pages, you're going to have right up here where it says lead pages options right here. Whoops, didn't get a chance to really show where I clicked. Right here, lead pages options right there. And then you're going to click on tracking codes. That's where you're going to do it. Tracking codes, and it's going to have all the same thing. It's going to have head right there. That's how you do that. So, Ralph, you want to touch on the difference between conversion tracking code and website custom audience codes and how that works with Facebook. And I'll give the controls back to you because you've got it all up over there. So you can kind of explain that difference, and so people don't get too confused.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the name that they give a website custom audience pixel, because it's not a pixel. I mean, if you've been in internet marketing for any point in time or any sort of digital marketing, I mean, you always think of a pixel as something that fires after a conversion. So the website custom audience pixel is actually just a code. Like if you've got Google Analytics on your site, or you've got Infusionsoft, or you've got Visual Website Optimizer, anything that you do like is like a JavaScript. For us, we use Kissmetrics for a lot of our advanced tracking. It's a code that's put on your site. Those aren't considered pixels. Pixels, I suppose they're pixels to a certain degree. I don't really know what the exact definition is, but it's very different. A conversion pixel is fired only on certain pages, specific pages where a conversion occurs. So, an opt-in page, then they opt in. On the thank you page, you have a conversion pixel that fires and tells Facebook in your ads manager that you just made a sale or a lead or whatever it happens to be. Very different than website custom audience pixel, which is really a code, is just put on site-wide. So they're really two separate things, and it does get confusing. I mean, for some of the guys who are on here that are a little bit more advanced, this is probably basic stuff, but this trips up a lot of people. And the thing that you have to remember is that with website custom audience pixel / code, you just insert it once, just like he said. So that's the basic difference.
Cool.
Does that answer the question?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just show the difference between the two ads, like what people see, and why this thing works.
Sure.
I don't know if we're on time here or if we're over time.
Yeah, this is a pretty complex one. I mean, we normally we don't want to try to go too long, over an hour on these calls, but I think it's important. This is a tough topic. So,
Yeah. So here's. Can you see my screen?
yep.
Okay. So here's the original ad. This is one of the ads that we run to a lot of different audiences, and this one is doing pretty well. Um, it's getting like $2 conversions, which is okay for us. But this is the ad that most people see. This is what cold traffic sees, and I've got specific interest that we've tested through a year of doing this or so that we know resonates with this kind of message. So this is the ad that they would see. Okay. So real simple. This is done in Canva, which we can talk about as a tool. I don't actually have our designer even do this. I just do it just because it's really fast to do. So this is what you would see. So anyway, so let's say that you saw this ad, you clicked on it, you opted in, you've watched the video, but you didn't buy the book. So now you will see, because of the magic of Facebook, you will see this ad. Notice it's not the same ad. Very different, but it's similar. So, this is a screen capture. This is like not. I did not go to design school by any stretch. This is a hideous looking ad, but it works because it also shows you what you're going to get in the ad, right? So if somebody opts in for the video, says, hey, that was pretty good, but then they forgot to buy the book, or maybe they didn't want to buy the book, we kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. And we should also give credit to where credit's due here. Molly Pittman from Digital Marketer, we totally copy this. I mean, this is nothing that we thought of. But we sort of assume to people that they didn't buy the book, not because they didn't want to, but just because they got distracted, or their baby started crying, or something popped up on instant messenger, or they got a phone call or whatever. They didn't finish their purchase. They didn't finish what we wanted them to do. So we're giving them the benefit of the doubt with simple language here. We use this on virtually every one of our website custom audience ads, which is, did life get in the way? Did you forget to grab my book for 1 penny? So the image that they see jogs their memory, but it's slightly different. Okay, and I think that's an important thing. So it also gives a visual representation of what it is that they're going to get. And then also, I sometimes do this too. Did you like the 80/20 video? So I'm acknowledging their previous action and then asking them to continue forward, giving them the benefit of the doubt that they just forgot and life is busy. And this is a very, very effective way of using these website custom audiences. So you set this stuff up, and then you're like, oh, I just run any ad. Well, you could, and you would be effective. Don't get me wrong. If you ran the same thing to them, you would probably be effective. But this is just something that's a little bit different. I really didn't change a whole lot in the ad. Click here to get your book for 1 penny. I put that in the URL description. I give a little bit more. Hey, if you did, you'll really like this special offer. There are 27 more ways you can double your business without adding a single new customer. Click here to grab your copy. So acknowledge the previous action. Okay. Ask them to continue what they were going to do and give them the benefit of the doubt. This is a really, really important thing to do. One of the things that we found is that, and we tested this, is that in this ad here, this is the one that's actually doing well. Do you send them back to the video payoff page, which in this case is this page right here, or do you send them to the actual shopping cart? So let me just explain that to you again. So do you send them back to what they've already seen, the video, so they grab the value, okay, which would be this page, okay, or do you send them to the page just to buy the book? So we tested this in 2 cases. One where you can actually see to video page and then to add to cart page. I tested these split side by side. I changed the copy slightly, so I guess I really didn't do a true split test, but this one won. the one that went back to the video page, because you know they already saw the video, but let's warm them up again, watch the video again, and then you can click. I actually thought that if I just sent them to the add to cart, we would get our conversions. We got no conversions. But on this one, we got 8 conversions.
So show them the difference of which page you sent people to, which one won.
So this one right here, okay, I send this back to the video payoff page, which is what they got after they opted in. All right, that one right there. But this one, I tested it. Did life get in the way? You forget to grab my book copy for 1 penny. See how I say on this add to cart page? I sent them to this page, which is if you click this, they go to the add to cart page.
And which one won?
The ad that goes to the video page.
So just
to remind them.
Yeah, you don't have to go back to the ad. Just go back to the page that won. There you go. So that tab. There you go. So that page won.
This page won. Now it might be different for you. You might want to try it. It really totally depends on your offer. I mean, I was totally wrong. I thought sending them to the add to cart page, it would totally win. We'll keep testing it, but it's something that you want to test. So there's a couple of different elements here. Your ad reminds them of what they did previously. It acknowledges the previous action, and then you have to test which page to send them to.
And that's kind of at your own discretion there. I know there's people that, if you're not comfortable with doing that, then don't do it. As far as like acknowledging them, did life get in the way? I know some people are not comfortable with doing that as far as the privacy and scaring people, like feeling like you're stalking them. And I kind of agree on that a little bit. Some people are completely comfortable with that because you get, your people know that you're, especially in the marketing world, it's like they're following Perry to learn about sales and marketing. They kind of appreciate him, that kind of stuff. So if you're in like a different kind of niche targeting like moms and stuff in consumer, you might not want to do that. So, or maybe you test it and you just see the feedback you get. If people are ticked off, then don't do it. If they're not, then do it because you're going to get better conversions probably. So that's just something to take into consideration.
Yeah, on this one we didn't get any negative comments. I mean, this is the actual ad. This is the demo side. So, people seem to like it. I mean, I just measure it by conversions. I mean, if it really looks like you're stalking them. I guess it really depends on what your market is. For this,
it depends on the market. Some markets would totally, like Ray said, would flip out, and he's right. There's some people are it just depends on the market. So
it depends on the market. But we always start with this one. And if I got a ton of negative feedback on this, we monitor comments on all these, I would have changed it. But it's very non-threatening. It really is. It's not like creepy. You can get kind of creepy with your ad copy, but Facebook probably won't approve it. But this is really sort of, benign. So, and it works for us. So, but definitely test it on your own.
Cool. One other thing that when I was showing you how to add the pixel, one other question some of you might have, if you want to add a specific pixel to a specific page inside of a blog, like when it comes to your website conversion pixel, your website custom audience pixel, if you have a blog like WordPress, right, you're only going to have to place it one time and you're fine. But when it comes to your conversion pixels, and let's say you have a conversion page, like a thank you page that's part of a blog, you're not using like a third-party builder. One way to do it is you can just add an HTML, just copy it and paste it right into the post. Or if you have to add widgets like an image widget or something like that, just add an HTML widget and paste the code right into the page. And that's what we do. So let's see here. What else do we have to cover here? I know I know there was another thing that so I'll show that real quick. Yeah. She's asking about that. But also, Ralph, there's a couple questions people want to know. This will be the last thing we cover, but they want tips on the amount of days that we create these lists for. So But I'm going to take the screen just for a second here. And then I'll give it back to you in a second. So let's say right here, this is just the members area, but this is just a WordPress page, right? So this is a WordPress. This is WordPress, but it's optimized press. So let's say I want to edit this page. I can go edit, and then I can just go into the editor, and if I want, I can just add an element. So I can add a new row, and I can go like that. There's, if your page has a spot for that, some do, then you just put it there. Okay. Some pages will have a spot. If they don't, just figure out another way to add the code and it will work. Okay. So if I add an element here, I might add HTML. Okay. And then all I would do is I would just click the conversion tracking pixel code, copy it from Facebook, paste it right into here, save my page. And you'll go back to Facebook and it's going to go green. So let me show you, maybe I'll do a demo real quick of a brand new one, just to show you guys how it works. Okay, 1 second here. I'll actually go to Facebook, Ads Manager. So 1 second here. So let's say now this is, remember, if you're talking about website custom audiences, your website custom audiences are not going to be placed on individual pages if you have a site-wide setting like you do with WordPress. But I'm talking about right now specific conversion tracking pixels because there's confusion, so we have to cover this on this webinar. But let's say right now we are on the conversion tracking tab. Okay, so if I want to create pixel here, let's say we're going to do a demo. So we're going to call this leads demo 1. All right, I'm going to hit create pixel, and I'm going to take that code. I'm going to right click, copy, or Command C or Control C, and we're going to go back over here, and let's say we add element, and actually let's go back to here and hit close. And after you create it, it's going to go, it's going to show unverified. So where's demo 1 at? There it is. You see demo 1 right there? Right there? Demo 1 unverified. Okay. So I copied the code. We're going to go back to this page here, and we're going to add the HTML code. I'm going to right click, paste it, insert. And if this was just a regular website, you would just put it right in the body. I'll show you how to do that too. So we're going to hit save and close, update, view page, and go back to Facebook. Reload. And it's probably going to be at the top of the list now, green, hopefully. There it is. See that? Active. So you can always check if it's working. Now, if it shows inactive, that just means somebody hasn't hit that page in about 24 to 48 hours. It's kind of frustrating, but these conversion pixels will go inactive. Doesn't mean they're not working. It just means people aren't hitting them in the last couple days. So that's just something to think about too. Unverified means it's not working. But so what we're going to do now is, let's say you've got a regular post.
Conversion pixels could be almost an entire webinar.
I've got training on it in there. I just wanted to. It's good to cover on this because there's so much overlap. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
So if I added a new page in a typical blog that's not like WordPress, not like optimized press, you might just put it right here in the body and it will work. So I hit text. So make sure it's not the visual editor. You make sure you're in text or HTML mode. And then I would paste it right there at the bottom of all my content, unless there's a spot for it, which you might have. So like right here, it's got a script. You might have a little section you can put in there, but if you don't, you just put it right in the body of the post. It will work. So that's just those two things to cover for you guys in case you're confused on that. So Ralph, you want to just touch on the days. And this is the one thing that you don't want to overcomplicate this at first, especially. Otherwise, you're just going to put too much work for yourself, and it's going to be too difficult. You're not going to be able to create the ads that you need. So just we like to simplify it as much as possible, but maybe just touch on that. I'm not sure. You might not need the screen. I'll give it to you just in case. But
Yeah, give me the screen. I'll
yeah.
show you one. I can't really show you the ads on this one, but I can show you how we divvied it up.
Okay, you should have it.
And you can do it that way. You can definitely you can go all the way up to 180 days. You can do, any number of days. And in some cases, what we do is for one particular client, we give them different offers based upon their website custom audiences. So in this case, and you can actually sort of see this one here, is that this is a new promotion. I mean, these guys run a fair amount of traffic, so I mean, these buckets fill up quick. That's the thing. So if you're running, $10 to $20 a day in traffic, I think this is something you don't even bother with it at this point. But if you're running more significant amounts of traffic on Facebook, yeah, I think this is a way to divvy up your audiences and potentially offer them other things, after they maybe don't buy in the first 5 days or 10 days or whatever. So on this particular one, you can see we have a new landing page for this client, and we've got ads set up now where we target them with separate messages based upon how many days they've actually hit the landing page. So they hit the landing page, but they didn't buy in this case. So technically, these custom audiences should be, visits, LP, no buy, or purchase refuser, or something like that, which is kind of the term that we always use. Refuser just always tells us immediately when you're looking at lots of data what their action was. So in this case, visits, new LP, 5 days. Okay. So we can offer them, and we offer them something like a one-time offer in those first 5 days. But then if they don't take us up on that, then we have this audience here, which is visits 10 days, but they also refuse to buy. So if I did an ad for this, I would include this audience for my first ad. Okay, that would be my website custom audience. But then if they didn't buy, my second ad, maybe a different kind of offer, maybe something that's slightly altered, maybe lower price, maybe a special, whatever, I would create another ad with this website custom audience, 10 days, but I would exclude this audience. So I'm only getting people that have not bought, that have been 10 days out since they visited my landing page, if that makes sense. And you can really splice this really thin. We used to do it like 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, 21 days. And for some clients, it just didn't really work. The audiences weren't big enough. We could never really gain a whole lot of traction. But for this one, because we're fair and we're spending, I don't know, a couple $1,000s a day on this, we get enough so that it makes it worthwhile. If your audiences are like this small, like this one here, or this one, or that one, and you send website custom audience traffic, if you use that website custom audience to try and sell something or try and get an opt-in, you're going to be competing against a lot of other advertisers, and chances are, because your audience is so small, you won't get any impressions. It's just what we found out. We actually had a talk with one of our clients yesterday about this, because he wanted to create like 3, 5, 7, 9, 12 days, different message on every day, but the audiences were too small. So you have to test it on your own. I hate to keep saying that, but it really is true. There's no hard and fast rule. If you're running lots of traffic and you've got lots of different offers, definitely give it a shot by splicing out your audiences like this. But if they're small, in the 2 digits, like 40, 50, 60 people that are in your website custom audience, you might be disappointed with the results, but definitely worth a test. So that's a little bit more advanced strategy. But if you kind of keep it simple and definitely have a website custom audience that's 180 days for your entire website, every visitor. Do that first, and then you can slice them up a little bit more, like we talked about here. Maybe people visit your landing page but don't opt in. Maybe people who opt in to your landing page but don't buy. And you can test, 180 days versus maybe 30 days and see what does better. Don't get too complex, 60, 90, 120. Just really keep it simple.
Yeah, just know that you don't want to keep showing the same ad to somebody 50 times. So it's kind of like an email autoresponder. Think about it that way. So but 30 days is a pretty good number. So maybe you have something that expires or something like that, but you might want to do something with 10 to get creative down the road. Right now, keep it simple. So we got to wrap this up. You got to get to the airport. We both got to get to the airport. I'm going to take over the screen for 1 second just to do a quick overview of your to-dos, and we're going to end this call. So hopefully it was really helpful. But right now, what I want you to do is number one, list out all your assets on your website. Just create a Google Docs spreadsheet, okay? Kind of like the one that we showed earlier that had the content buckets, okay? And so you can list out, you can have one column that's maybe content, you might have another column that's landing pages, maybe you have another column that's sales pages, maybe you have another column that's thank you pages, okay? Kind of like it flows, kind of like that map that I showed you at the beginning. All right, map out your customer flow. Use Lucidchart or Glyphy. It's supposed to be a G, not C. Glyphy. So it's a glee, a glee, a G. And then create your custom audiences inside Facebook. We just showed you how to do that. Set your number of days. So you're going to create maybe a 180 and a 30, okay, for each one. Maybe you have a 10 or a 7-day. It just depends. But just do that to what you think will work. And then place that pixel into the head of your site or pages. And then you're going to make sure you add the Facebook Pixel Helper to Chrome. So just do a Google search, or if you're on this live, then of course you've got the link in the chat. But Google search for Facebook Pixel Helper. It'll be the first result. And then add that so you can always check all your pages, and then create your first ads. That's it. That's the to-do list. Ralph, is there anything else you want to cover? We answered a lot of questions. I really don't want to go any longer unless there's one. Let's see here.
Yeah, I was just trying to answer a couple of questions in
Sure, go ahead.
The chat box. But if you guys don't have an answer to your question, just in the interest of time, we've got to wrap it up. Post it in the Facebook group. I mean, we're in there at least once a day, both me and Keith. So post it in there if something was, confused you. And some of this stuff is fairly complex. Post it right in there and just, call us out specifically, either me or Keith, and we'd be happy to answer that question for you.
Yep, cool. All right, hope that was helpful, and we'll have the recording up very soon, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great weekend. Welcome to the group if you're new, and I'm super excited. So the next webinar will be a little bit more just overview of strategy, and then we're going to possibly do a hot seat. So if anybody is on this call right now, if you're interested in doing a hot seat, reach out. I'm actually going to post a little link, I think, in the group, people that are interested, so that you can put your name in there. But if you are interested, just maybe just post something in the group that you might be interested in. We might be able to do that. But